Haidong! So in this video we're going to talk about jump cuts, more specifically jump spin cuts. Now we appease a certain demographic of my viewers by talking about the why, right? So like, this is form 2. So literally after the form that you just learned how to pick up a sword and use it, you're suddenly jumping and spinning, right? So it's like, all right, that seems to be important. Why is it taught so early? Why is it also, why? Just why? Why are we doing it, right? So let's talk about some, again, superficial reasons why we might be doing it, and then kind of get into the more potentially logical and combat-related reasons for doing a jump spin. So one of the first reasons that's ever really been taught to me for, again, why we're doing this is we're trying to hit a higher target. Now there's an even more exotic way of talking about this is that, so for example, allegedly, sometimes you might be fighting cavalry, right? So I guess specifically like Mongols and stuff like that. So you're fighting horsemen, right? So one potential reason, and I'm going kind of about this in a little bit, is like, all right, there's a dude with like a pike or something, I'm deflecting the pike, I'm gonna do a jump spin, cut the horseman, land, and then with a gallant thump, the other guy is gonna fall down dead or something like that. Or again, less exotic is just like, all right, I just want to cut maybe someone who's taller, or I just want to cut his head with a diagonal cut. All right, like I'm just gonna come up here, I'm gonna do a jump spin, kind of hit high and fall down low. All right, so maybe I'm just hitting a higher target. But let's talk about that, right? So again, one thing that's always good to consider is always kind of like do the flip side, right? It's like, all right, so this part of the form was developed for a very specific reason, right? Like President Jung Ho Kim wasn't like, oh, nobody cool, spins. Why? I don't care about spins. Like no, like he when he founded this, he had the ideas like, all right, like form 2, we are gonna do this because of X, Y, and Z reasons. So this is really the main point of where we're trying to like decipher, again, why. So I'm not particularly happy with the explanation of, oh, you just want to hit a higher target, right? Because on the flip side, like, all right, is that the most efficient way of doing it? No, right? So if we first take the exotic version, right? So we have a horseman coming at me, maybe with a spear or with a sword. If the idea was his spear's coming in, I'm like, no, I'm going to do a jump spin and cut him. First of all, that dude is gone. He's gone by the time I even start my spin. He's way out of range. He doesn't care anymore. Additionally, if I want to attack a horseman, spinning cut may not necessarily be the best way. I can kind of deflect, thrust upward, and kind of hit him on the rib and maybe just lodge him that way. I feel like it's going to be more likely to hit, less likely for me to get damaged because a spin towards a target is usually not a great idea, especially if he's riding with a drawn sword trying to murder me. So if it's just a matter of, again, horseman, deflect, thrust, you can even try to do like a big rainbow cut. I recommend rainbow cut because I don't want to hit the horse because I like horses. Horses are neat. Now, if you didn't think horses were neat and you're up against horsemen, there's that, right? So you can obviously go for like a thrust or something like that, or a cross cut against the horse. I do not recommend it. I do not condone it. Don't do it. But if you're in combat and you had to choose between a jump spin, diagonal cut, landing on both feet, trying to hit the target who's moving on the horse, who's also aware that you're jumping and spinning, or just I go with So probably not horsemen, just because there are better alternatives. So what about just, all right, I want to hit a higher target, right? One thing that I've heard is like, all right, the jump spin is more powerful. Again, this is a hot word that people like to use, like power, like I want a powerful cut. It's like, all right, try it, right? So if I'm here, and again, pretend I just jump spin, right? Even if I try to add a little bit more oomph to it, versus, right? So it seems like I have more power just cocking it back over my shoulder than doing the jump spin. So I was like, all right, it's not more powerful, it's not faster, because what we just saw as well, is like as I did the spin, it wasn't necessarily as fast as, again, pulling just over the shoulder. It's like, all right, why? Again, this is part of form 2. This is your second form. We are doing this for a reason. So, why? Why are we doing it? The explanation that I like is going to be from just the fact of what's going on in the form when you do this, right? So the form is meant to be like, all right, you can actually apply this into combat. Well, what was the specific circumstance of this happening, right? So the way I usually think of it is someone's either giving you, a thrust, giving you a cross cut, they're just trying to cut you in general, maybe even a diagonal cut. So they're trying to come at me, and it's like, all right, I'm drawing back this way to block. All right, and then from here, I'm gonna do a jump spin. Okay, why? Why would that necessarily be better than just stepping forward, right? So if someone is here, right, and they're coming in with that cut, if I'm blocking, I'm just like, going for that cut. The minute I release, or even before I necessarily release it, once they know I'm going to, they can just blast right through. Once they feel me lighten a little bit, any good swordsman, if they feel me coming in this way, it's just gonna be like, pop. If the person's here, right, and they're coming in this way, I need to maintain that pressure at least enough, or bail, right? I need to get out of there, right? So if they're cutting in this way, if I really do a lot of translation, so this is gonna be a little bit different from necessarily the height version. If I do a lot of just push in this way, I might be able to kind of follow past their weapon, right? So if I was cutting this person here, and they defended, and they're starting to spin this way, I can follow, but notice that my power is actually gonna be really lost. So if I'm following you as you spin, I can still probably hit you, but it's not gonna be that powerful because I'm not gonna have that same synchrony, which is something we talked about. So callbacks, synchrony of drawing that back foot in. So if I'm here, I'm gonna use my guard, actually. I'm gonna use my guard to scrape up, stop their blade here, and I'm gonna push through and cut. All right, Master Ezawa, you talked about the spin portion. So why the jump, right? So why add the jump to this whole thing? And that's going to be, again, yet another thing about geometry, right? So I should have like a little card I just hold up every time there's going to be geometry. But, so if I'm here, and I'm trying to push around this way, this is really where my strength is going to be, right? So it's about chest level. If I'm able to push up, I can actually use a little bit lower, actually push it up this way, so I actually have a higher frame of protection, right? So instead of this being my strongest, it's actually going to be slightly higher up, which is probably going to be where their power is coming from, because they're trying to hit me in the shoulder, right? But my power is protecting my ribs. So if I'm rising up this way, I'm going to be able to have more power behind my deflection if I need to deflect it, right? And additionally, if you do the jump, so yes, you're not going to get more power in your cut because, right? But you will get more dragging power. So if I do in fact make contact, and I'm here, I do a jump, if I make contact up here and I land, I can just drag down and follow through with that cut. So first of all, I'm not going to get embedded in that partner. I guess he's no longer a partner, he's an enemy. I'm not going to be embedded in him, I'm going to be drawing across, right? Now again, this might be shallow, right? So it's not going to be like, I'm going to cut you in twain, Star Wars style. It's going to be like, all right, I'm going to probably get into your shoulder. If you're wearing armor, probably not going to do anything, but at least I'll be able to draw through, and from here, I can kind of go back into a more defendable position. So one last point that I would like to bring up with this one is, so in the form, I'm doing like a full, 180 turn, so I can kind of see where I'm going with a 360 spin. Am I going to do a full 360 spin in combat? No, probably not, right? Because that'll be, again, the worst case scenario. So this is something that I talked about a little bit with my spinning video, but Gumdo talks about worst case scenarios, or at least forms in general, should talk about worst case scenarios. So when you practice worst case, you can always dial it back, right? So if I'm cutting someone and he's like moving around, I might just end here and follow through. I don't necessarily need to do the full 180, but you can if you need to, and again, when you're under pressure, you're going to naturally dial it back. So that's another reason why it might be a full 360 in the form, although in combat, you're not going to do that much of a spin. A few drills. So the first one I'm going to recommend is try breaking down how to do this spin yourself. So like imagine you're trying to teach it to either one of your students, one of your friends, or something like that. Just learn how to break it down, because you're going to learn more, first of all, about yourself as you do it. So for example, when I first learned how to do this, I was taught to step over, jump, right? Obviously jump more like that kind of jump as opposed to like the but like I remember how I was taught, and then how I kind of changed it along the way, and how I change it for every student. It kind of shows you like what you prioritize, right? So I think a lot about that forward momentum. I think a lot about that twist. I think a lot about that landing at the same time. I usually don't actually think that much about the actual cut, which may be a reason, right, why my cut is not as powerful as I do the spin. So I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and the spin is a lot more powerful. But again, just learn how to break it down yourself, and try to break it down, and see how you would present it to a complete newbie, maybe someone who's done a long time but they're doing something differently. Just try seeing it from different perspectives. And another drill you can try is just try it against a target, right? So if you have a tower target, if you have a bag, if you have anything like that, or if you just have a partner who's willing to block, right? So don't actually hit your partner. Try it, right? So from here, you're gonna notice as you spin, you really need to tuck your sword, right? So for example, if I have a partner and I'm just like, whack, your partner's not gonna be happy if he's conscious. He won't care if he's unconscious. But if you're here, make sure you tip the sword back, so you can actually, first of all, it protects your rib a little bit, right? It's not that powerful, but it's gonna do something as opposed to nothing. Also, it's not gonna hit your partner or hit your opponent, because even if it is your opponent and you hit this way, you're gonna make, it's gonna break your wrist. Not break it, but it's gonna be not great for it. So try it with a partner, try it on a target. If it's against a target, try to see if it actually makes if it's in fact more powerful than just that. So with this one, be particularly careful. Make sure you're stretched out. Make sure if you feel anything in your knees or anything like that, back off a little bit. If you feel in your heels especially, take it a little more easy. So be careful, but keep training and stay humble. Haidong!